Hey everybody, welcome back to the Art of Relationship show. I'm your host, Greg, as always, and once we start kicking the show off, we'll get into the live Q&A. Hopefully everybody's doing okay Wednesday. I know it's a little bit nipply, a little chilly here in Michigan, and woke up, this morning, even last night, it's like, oh my God, I cover my nips. It's a little... getting a little cold out here in fall, right? Hopefully everybody's doing okay. And again, my deepest wishes to everybody down south, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, wherever Helene, ripped apart. So my deepest wishes go out to everybody out there and all the first responders, my apologies, that are helping everybody out and trying to make everybody be safe and feel more safe and secure, okay? So welcome everybody to the Art of Relationship show. Today we're going to talk about, being needy. There's a difference between being needed and being needed. So a lot of people, I'm going to get into that. And is it a good thing to be needed? Listen up. And then we're going to get into breakups and maybe rules of thumb about breakups, rebounds. And as always, you can throw your questions down below. It doesn't have to deal with the topics at all. It can be relationship, marriage, dating, sex, intimacy, whatever I can do to help people out there. And don't go anywhere. Here's the intro, and we'll jump right into everything right after this. There we go. Welcome to the Art of Relationship show. That was the intro. And going to get into, like I said, being needed, or, what's the difference between being needed and being needy in a relationship. And also about, what are rules of thumbs, what research says about breaking up, going through a divorce, a breakup, that type of situation. And you can throw your questions down below as always. Doesn't have to deal with the subject topic at hand, okay? And I'll do my best I can to help everybody out. And hopefully, we'll have a lively show and everything else out there as well, okay? Now, for people that don't know, I'm Greg Dudzinski, fully licensed professional counselor here in Michigan, here in Metro Detroit area. Been doing this, professionally for over 22 years now, and I'm a relationship and sex specialist. A lot of training, all that stuff, postgraduate degrees, all that stuff, certifications. And I have a lot of, which a lot of people don't know, I have a lot of trauma and a lot of grief experience as well. So my passion is trying to help people have a dynamic relationship with themselves, with their partner, and promoting love, self-love, and self-respect at the same time, okay? So, and that looks different to everybody, different to every relationship, each individual out there as well. Hey, Matt, Taj, I appreciate everybody joining in. Like I said, throw your questions out down below, people, and I'll do the best I can answer them. And a disclosure I mention every episode is this does not replace the actual professional counseling that I do right back here in my office, right behind me, where I'm in my office. But due to, there's no consent forms, all that type of stuff that is going on, okay? So that's where I want people to be able to look at, what is happening, what is going on, what I can do to help people out there have, like I said, a great relationship, great marriage. Nothing is perfect. But it's also how you work through those challenges together as a team, that you work towards each other, not opposite and ripping each other apart, okay? Sounds easy, right? We've all been there. We're all human, right? Nothing is perfect. So going after the aspect about being needy, okay? And before I jump into that, please share the live video the live episode on whatever format you're watching, if it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you are viewing this, I'd appreciate it. I want to help as many people out there as possible. Share it on your platform or page, wherever you're watching it, okay? And I appreciate that. So, being needed, a lot of people, I don't want someone that's needy. I don't want someone that's whatever, right? But there's a difference between being overly needy, that, everything's about you. It's like, gimme, 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 me. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm taking care of a infant, a toddler, that type of situation, right? And a lot of people, let's face it, being needy, overly needy, is a big turnoff for a lot of people. And this goes for men, for women. And again, it's subjective. I'm talking a generalization. I'm talking averages. I'm not talking everybody, okay? So we have to look at that. I always say there's always outliers, right? Research might say one thing, but there's always exception to those. So, being needy, it's like you may be incompetent. You might not be able to take care of stuff on your own. You always need someone to, answer for you. You always need someone to do everything for you, okay? It could be cooking, cleaning, whatever. Like you're incompetent, that you're overly needy, right? And I'm talking someone that's healthy, right? I'm not talking someone that has wheelchair bound, that are, chronically ill, debilitated, those type of situations. We're talking, average, healthy, physically, mentally, competent individual. And I know mentally competent can be, being a smart ass, can be subjective, right? Hey, Kimberly, what's going on? Jake, what's happening? Dina. So again, throw your comments, throw your questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you, okay? So, a lot of people, oh my God, it's like I'm taking care of another kid. I hear it all the time, and that is a huge turnoff for a lot of people, where you look at the situation to where, oh my God, they can't do anything for themselves. Hey, Chili, what's going on from Colorado? Peace, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. So when you look at these situations, you're looking at, some people will look at, oh, I need someone, see, part of needing to take care of, right? I want someone to feel needed. And that's part of when you feel needed. There might be a purpose, right? You feel needed as a parent, right? You feel, maybe you want to feel needed as a partner, right? That somebody can rely on me, and it gives me a sense of purpose, right? And like I said, that is not an unhealthy situation. That can be healthy, right? When you allow someone to help you, when you allow someone to, have your back, to maybe do stuff for you, that can be okay, and wanting your partner to feel needed. And it could be emotionally, mentally, and physically, right? Oh, I need you sexually. Oh, yeah, baby. Well, are you going to die if you don't have sex? It might feel that way, but not necessarily, right? So, but when you want somebody and need somebody, heart, soul, mentally, maybe even physically, is a big difference between the neediness that maybe an infant, a child has, right? And there's a lot of people out there that are maybe people pleasers, that are, doormats. I don't want to be derogatory, but that's where I look at, they need to be needed. There is an unhealthy avenue to wanted to be needed versus that you're in a desperate mode to be needed, right? Where those individuals that need a constant, they need almost 100%, 24/7 aspect to feel needed by friends, family, and they get used, right? They get taken advantage of. That's not healthy. These individuals they have no boundaries. They can't tell people no, because they'll feel guilty. They will feel, maybe, I feel like I'm a terrible person if I don't help them. Having healthy boundaries promotes self-love and self-respect for people, for me, for you, for everybody else out there, okay? So there's a difference between wanting to be needed. Do you need to be needed by everybody? Or is it just certain people in your circle, right? As a parent, maybe your kid, your teen. Some people still want to be needed. They have an adult kid, right? Oh, I just rented a place, or I got a house or a car. I need a little help fixing it up type of stuff. Oh, I feel needed. I'm going to come in there. Some people, it's important to make your partner feel needed versus that you're incompetent and that you're needy, that you can't do anything on your own, okay? And like I said, right, clarification is when you or that individual has medical issues, or, an elder parent, right, about dementia, Alzheimer's, that type of situation, somebody that might be wheelchair bound. There's a difference between that versus someone that's relatively physically healthy and mentally healthy as well, okay? So that's where I want people to understand there's a huge difference, right? Going back to, being needy. It's great. I feel so needed. But after a while, and it might be a short while, right? Where, oh my God, can't they do anything for themselves? They can't cook. Alicia, hey, what's going on? They can't cook for themselves. They can't do laundry. Everybody has heard this term about maybe being incompetent, right? Elevation hairstyle. Woohoo! Well, I don't know what you can do for my hair right now, Elevation, but I appreciate you showing up, listening. And so those type of situations will, oh my God, it drives you nuts, right? When you have somebody and you feel totally responsible for another adult, especially in your relationship, right? And I tell people, when somebody feels, they make me feel needed, wanted, that's healthy, right? Great. But when they feel like they're incompetent, that's unhealthy. And you have those individuals, like I said earlier, that might be people pleasers. Oh, it's great. I feel needed. I feel all this stuff. And then later on, what happens, resentment will set in because, oh my God, this person can't do anything for themselves. They can't do laundry, cook, clean. They can't even pay bills. They can't really do anything, right? They go to work. That might be it, but then they can't make phone calls to doctors for themselves. You get me? Dentist appointments. They rely on or expect their partner to make all the decision making for them, and that gets cumbersome. That gets annoying, and that feels like one person is doing all the work in the relationship or marriage, okay? Hey, Sabrina, Colin, what's going on? I appreciate everybody tuning in. So again, throw your questions down below, people. I want to ask anything I can do to, help people out. And again, your questions don't have to relate to the topics at hand during the episode, okay? As long as they're related, of course, to dating, relationship, marriage, intimacy, sex, that type of situation, okay? So when you look at, a lot of people look at, I want to be needed, and everyone's like, oh, get away, right? That's okay. We all want to feel needed in a certain way, that we feel needed to provide love, healthy, right? That we provide comfort to our partner, that we can be there and be needed emotionally, mentally for our person. That's a healthy situation. It's when a situation where one of us, our partner, right, feels incompetent and they can't do anything for themselves. And the old adage is, right, oh my God, I'm not your mother. I'm not your father. You get me? You can't do anything on your own. And it's one of those situations where they might not even be able to self-soothe on their own. That the difference between, being dependent and codependent on somebody else, that, their emotions, their feelings, all dependent on their partner. And that's not fair to the partner, right? I need you to make me feel better. I need you to put me in a good mood. I need you to not make me depressed. I need you to, you get me? That's a lot of work, and that is borderline selfish. And we could look at, what personalities do that. or maybe was it the old adage how people were raised, that someone was raised to, you know what, not be independent, not be responsible, not have a work ethic, to be taken care of solely, that their mom, dad, grandmother, whoever raised them did everything for them. And these individuals, you know, they might have always cooked for them. And I'm talking age appropriate, right? We're not talking a 1-year-old, 2-year-old. They never had to do any chores. They never had to cook, clean, do laundry. Let's face it, some people, they didn't even have to do their homework because a parent or parental figure did it for them. That they're, you know, oh, I don't have to do anything. So they become almost incompetent and overly needy. And it transitions from how they were raised or in that home into their other partner when they're married, when they're living together, right? And their other partner's like, oh my God, can't you do anything for yourself? Or they assume, right, that partner, oh, once we live together, it's going to change. Or once we get married, they're going to change. They're going to become more independent. They're going to become more competent in a relationship. And then what happens? It doesn't change. And they're in my office right here, right? So, talking to me, oh my God, she can't do anything for him. Greg drives me nuts, right? And those situations, and it's like looking at, and how do you try to teach somebody and try to evolve somebody that maybe doesn't want to. They assume that's how it always should be. Someone needs to take care of me all the time. And for a lot of people, let's be honest, that's a huge turnoff emotionally, mentally, and definitely sexually when somebody feels like they're taking care of another child instead of their romantic partner, okay? So, again, throw the comments in down below. I keep saying that, but I just want to throw a reminder out there. Hey, Ray, what's happening? Appreciate everybody tuning in. And, you know, I respect everybody taking the time and, you know, tuning in. And hopefully I can help people learn something and, you know, make your relationship, make your own life happier, more fulfilling, more satisfying, and promoting self-love and self-respect at the same time, okay? So looking at that, and, you know, if you missed it, you know, go back over it, and, you know, the difference between being needed, which is healthy in an essence, okay, versus being needy. And some people don't want to be needed at all, okay? And you look at that situation, you know, even, you know, I don't want to be needed, but I like helping people out. Well, it's sort of the same thing, right? But again, some people want to be needed, not by everybody. I think most of us, I'm like that. We don't want to be needed by everybody, but do we want to be needed by our loved one, our circle? Maybe, you know, like I said, if you have a kid, help them with homework, a problem, life problem, right? Or maybe you want to be needed by a friend, a relative, that type of situation, versus being fully, someone else is fully dependent on you for everything, emotionally, mentally, physically, that type of thing. Like, oh my God, can't you take care of yourself? And if they lived alone or had nobody in their life, they might be helpless. That would be another word for it, right? An infant, you expect to be helpless, right? However, in an adult romantic relationship, you don't expect that, right? And again, you know, the outlier is, you know, if there is a medical condition, a horrific car accident that happens and it turns chronic, that doesn't mean that person was that way prior to that. And that's totally different, right? So you look at if they have the capability, what is going on. And if you are listening, if you are one of those individuals that you expect your person to do everything for you, and I mentioned it, right? I still get it. You know, making doctor's calls, making calls to dentist appointments, getting car fixed, paying bills. They're doing everything. And some people, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. You're like, what? she works, he works, you both work, but why can't you make your own calls, right? And you're looking at that, well, I don't have time, I don't get breaks, and that's different versus you helping each other out. But if you're solely dependent on your partner and expect them to do all the work, then I'm going to tell you, you are being overly needy, and you are being, let's face it, selfish, and you're not taking that individual into consideration that they also work. They're also doing this, that, and whatever, taking care of the kids, laundry, cooking, and cleaning, that type of stuff, running the kids all over the place. Hey, what's going on, Chad? I appreciate you tuning in, man. So that's where looking at those situations and looking at the difference between, being selfish and what are you doing to help your partner out versus, again, being needed versus being overly needy. So that's where I want people to understand and look at and express that. And again, this is different in every relationship, every couplehood, right? We have different views on what being needed is and what does that look like in your relationship. And as most people know, I am huge on, I am huge on expectations in a relationship. And some people, I don't expect anything because I don't want to be disappointed. But you need to know how you want to be loved, how you want to be desired, how you want to be respected, right? Those foundations and everything else you can maybe fit into place or work on, but it's the same thing. I have no expectations. Well, do you want kids? Yeah, I do. Well, that's an expectation, and you need to be with someone that wants kids. And again, the same thing versus, being needed versus being overly needy. And I think, you look at somebody, you want to need somebody because you love them, right? And it's not a dependent or codependent issue. It's a healthy avenue, whatever. You need that person because you love that person. Your heart and soul are there, but you're still able to hold on to your own identity, that type of situation. You're still able to be independent. You're still able to, take care of your own self like your partner. But, wanting to be needed and feeling loved, that is healthy. Nothing wrong with that. Being overly needy, dependent on somebody else, number one, it's not fair. And that's unhealthy. And it's, borderline or maybe all the way line, if that's such a thing, as being selfish. Okay. So, no, I appreciate everybody tuning in. So, going on to breakups, right? How many people have recently been through a breakup, a divorce, those type of situations, right? And I know everybody says a divorce is more traumatic, whatever. Again, it depends on the individual. It depends on the situation versus a breakup. And there are some people that have been through, a long-term relationship. We'll say that. Long-term relationship or been married. And they've been married for years, and they've been, we'll say, maybe emotionally divorced, emotionally broken up from their partner for a long time, okay? It could be 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. They're emotionally shut out, okay? And a lot of people look at, they just broke up and they're in another relationship. They just got divorced and they're dating somebody else. Everybody else, the outside world, judges, right? No, they don't live your life. The situation is being healthy about it versus being unhealthy about those situations, okay? In a long-term relationship, research is suggesting, believe it or not, for a long-term relationship, I'm not talking you date somebody for a week, couple weeks, and again, everybody's different. A month, somebody could fall deeply in love with somebody in that time frame, and we could get in a debate about what is real love, the honeymoon, early relationship stage, or if it's really cemented, and if that's what that person feels. Okay, we're not talking fantasy land. So, but research is stating that in a long-term relationship, in a breakup, men usually take 12 weeks to heal or recover on average, okay? Everybody's different on average. And females, do you think it's quicker or do you think it's longer, right? Believe it or not, like I said, men on average, 12 weeks, 3 months, right? Women are 15 weeks, right? Typically, on average, 3 weeks longer to be able to heal and to maybe get back to a healthy sense of self before they maybe put themselves out there, right? Nobody wants heartbreaks. They're devastating, right, for a lot of people. Or you have some person that maybe did not want to break up and the other one's out dating, whatever, they're emotionally done. And they're like, I can't believe this, right? And that's where I want people to be able to work on themselves, to work on healing that, and to be able to look at what's it take to be able to heal from that breakup, from that divorce and that situation, okay? Is it healthy? Everybody talks about rebound relationships. And the difference is, you know, the rebound relationship, are you using somebody to heal? I'm never into a situation where somebody uses somebody else to get over heartbreak, right? And the aspect is, do you know that on a conscious level or don't you? And a lot of people, well, subconsciously, how would you know it if it's subconscious, right? You wouldn't know it. But you're looking at listening to your gut instinct and listening to, you know, what does your heart say and what does that information look like to you to be able to look at, you know, we know rebound relationships are not healthy, right? And how do you know if it's a rebound relationship, right? If it is, let's be honest, right? You're still wanting that individual. You still miss that individual. You still are craving to be with that individual, but you are dating somebody else. You're hoping, oh, they'll automatically wipe those feelings all away when I find that new person. That's not healthy, and that's not fair to that new person, right? That they're responsible for the healing, not you. That's not fair. And I get it. Nobody wants to feel that pain. That's why I tell people all the time, that's why I've been doing this. That's why I do this, because heartbreak, it's the worst, man. Heartbreak is the worst. That's why I want to help people heal. But when you're looking at these situations and looking at the dynamics of a rebound after a breakup or a divorce even, you know, oh, I have no purpose. Remember we talked about being needed versus being needy. A rebound relationship, you're going to jump in and you need that person to heal you. That's not healthy, right? It's looking at a situation to where, you know what, are you looking at that person for who they are? Are you fully, you know, healed from that past marriage or relationship? Are you assuming that individual is automatically, magically going to take away all your pain? That is unfair for your new person. That's why I look at situations been through, you know, people been through a breakup, got cheated on, and they start treating their new person, right? Like they're the ones that cheated on them. They're the ones that broke their heart and they had nothing to do with it. That tells me you're not healed and you are expecting that individual to be okay with the way you treat them, to understand, well, I've been cheated on before, so you have to be okay with me thinking or not trusting you, even though you've done nothing wrong. No, that tells me you are not healed in that relationship, okay? And that tells me, you know, you are expecting and maybe being needy that you expect that new person to heal you, and that's not their responsibility, okay? And that's where you look at that healthy sense of self, where a rebound relationship, you know, it's not healthy. And how do you know it's a rebound relationship? A lot of people will look at, and I tell people, when you go into and you're maybe dating somebody, getting back out in the dating world, which it's not easy, right? A lot of people hate it. I'm not a big fan of it. But you look at, that situation to where when you go out on a date and you feel guilty, then that tells me, you know what, maybe a little guilty is normal. But when you start feeling very guilty, that's not healthy. And that tells me maybe you should not be dating. And again, there's a difference between encouraging yourself to get back out there, encouraging yourself to heal versus forcing yourself. And also, like I said, you're almost expecting that person to be doing all the healing for you. And that, it's not fair, okay? So, the rebound relationship, do you feel guilty? If you end up kissing that person, are you wishing that you were still kissing or with your ex? If you ended up having sex with that individual, do you feel guilty? Not because you really didn't want to, but you feel guilty because you still feel like you cheated on your ex. Then that tells me maybe you're in a situation that you're not in a place where you should be dating, okay? And it's different. We might feel a little guilt doing this, kissing somebody, going on a date with somebody. It's one of those situations, you know what? I wondered why they didn't feel fully present. They didn't feel whatever. Or some people feel forced. Oh my God, they're like forcing because they're trying to force themselves to heal. You get me? And not maybe that the intention is to use you, but that might not be their intent, but they're trying to heal so much that they end up using that under, say, you, or you end up using that other individual to be able to heal. And that is so not healthy. And it's not fair to that other person that could, love you and, want that. That tells me you're not in a safe spot. You're not in a healthy spot to be dating, okay? Alessandra, hey, appreciate it. Cutesy, what's happening? People joining in. So, again, you have any questions, people, throw them down below, okay? And it's weird. I'm not getting any questions. It's weird. Odd, but that's all right. So when you look at, the rebound aspect, when you're having sex with somebody or kissing somebody, and you feel guilty, you feel like you're betraying not only your ex-partner, right? Ex-husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Oh my God, it feels like I'm cheating on them, but you're not. It just feels that way, right? You're broken up, you're whatever. And part of this is also you feel like you're betraying your own heart, right? How many people have been there where you feel like, you know what, my heart is still back here, back in the past. It's not fully healed in the present. And you try to force that healing, and it causes more problem in that relationship. And that's what happens with that rebound effect in a relationship. And number one, it's not fair to yourself, okay? And it's not fair to that new person. Could be a good person, a great person. It's just maybe you are not ready for that situation. You are not ready because you're not fully healed from a past relationship. And those are sure tells, right? When you feel guilty if you're having sex with that person, you're, kissing that person, you're spending time with that person, and you're feeling guilty. Or the situation, not only that, you're with that person, man, I wish I was kissing my ex. I wish I was knocking boots or making sweet love with my ex. It's not a healthy spot to be in, right? And again, it's not fair for you, and it's not fair for the person you're with, okay? And I tell people, I do this, I give a shit. Let's be honest, okay? I don't want people to use people, manipulate people, lie, mislead, nothing like that, okay? And we all know people that do that. I never promote that, never excuse it. They're in maybe a bad relationship or marriage, unhealthy, and maybe not, and they're out on dating sites. You know, people find out she's still married, he's still married, still living with that person, that type of situation, and the other one has no idea before it's too late. Don't use anybody. Okay? So that's where you look at, you know what? There's a difference between you go out and you like somebody and you kiss somebody, oh, might think it's there. Maybe you have sex with that person, and it's a risk, right? We know that. But you're doing it intentionally, and you want to, but then you're like, the chemistry's not there like I thought it would be. That happens, unfortunately, right? It does happen. But that is different than you feeling guilty from being out on a date with somebody, from being with somebody, being intimate, sexual with somebody, kissing somebody, hugging somebody, right? You could be cuddled up watching a movie when you first start dating somebody, whatever, right? And you are feeling guilty that you're cheating on whoever, or, man, I wish my ex was here instead of this person. That tells me right there, that's where you say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, you know, I like you as a person. I get it, but I'm not fully healed over my ex yet. How many people would admit that? Not only that, how many people would respect that if they're on the other end of that? How many people would respect that and say, I get you, I understand, man, it sucks. Damn, I really liked you, I get it. But you know what? And that's part of the self-love and self-protect. I'll wait until you're healed. Don't do that. Because we have no idea when that person is going to be healed. And you know what? We think we're going to help that healing. We're going to make them have all that pain go away. Don't do that to yourself, people. Not at all. It's not healthy. And it also not only puts pressure on that other person. I got to hurry up and heal. Let them go. Let them go. And, hey, you're healed. Give me a call. Text me. We'll see what happens, right? And you could be in another healthy relationship by that point while that other one is healing, right? And it's one of those situations, is it timing? Is it, compatibility? Or is it where that other individual is at? Or also where you're at. So speaking from a point of you're the one that is, maybe looking for a rebound, and it might not even be, like I said, intentionally or consciously, but then you have to look at, am I going to feel overly guilty, like I'm cheating type of thing on an ex? You're not. They're an ex. And it's also in a situation, same different when, and it's devastating, right? You just got married, or you're married to somebody, or you've been living with someone for a while and they pass away. Maybe a heart attack, a car accident, the hurricane, right? And you love that person, all of a sudden, I'm going to heal and start dating right away. You need time to heal that situation, right? Because a lot of people don't want to be in a situation where they are emotionally, mentally, physically competing with a ghost, with an ex, or a ghost. And it sucks because it's not fair that life took that loved one from you. It's not. But it's also not fair for you to try to maybe unintentionally use somebody to get through that hurt, that pain, and that trauma. And that's where I want people to take that time to be able to look at, hey, what am I doing to find myself again, my identity, and what I want, what I don't want. And also during those situations are, hey, Ehab, my buddy, my Cairo, Egypt friend. What's going on, Ehab? What's happening, man? I appreciate you tuning in. So these are the situations, and it's devastating. It's not easy. And I get you want to erase all that pain, but there's a difference between healing it, working through it, and allowing it to heal fully versus trying to force it and trying to ignore all that pain, because it's just going to cause more havoc down the road. And it's going to bite you in the ass later on. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody, okay? So in those situations, That's where you look at in those, the rebound situation. Do I want to date, or are people bugging me? I need to get back out there and I'm not healed. And some people, friends, whatever, might mean well, or family members, they might mean well, but they're not living in your shoes, right? They're not living in your heart, your soul, and where you are at mentally, and looking at, hey, I don't want to betray myself, and I don't want to hurt somebody else when I'm not fully healed. That is being respectful. That is being emotionally mature in those situations, okay? So when you look at that situation, coming from a breakup, and you look at, a breakup or divorce, and I have a lot of people, I do see individuals as well that have been through a breakup, been through a divorce. Greg, I'm having a hard time. I went through this. I get calls, texts, emails. Greg, I need some help, trying to heal. And one thing I look at trying to help and heal all those situations, it's not a bashing, not at all, okay? Not a bashing. It's looking at what were you not getting in that relationship, and what were you not getting in that marriage, okay? This is not people want to rip apart that person. They're a jerk. They're an a-hole. She's this. He's that. No. Like I said, not a bashing. I want you to be cognizant and to be able to look at and try to be rational. Hey, Christina, Amanda, what's happening? So those are situations where I want you to be aware of, what wasn't I getting from that person? And you could be getting everything, I thought everything was perfect. And then that person breaks up with you, or they file for divorce, and you're thinking everything is perfect. And I'm like, maybe that person wasn't really paying attention that well. Or some people are really good. They think everything's great, and then they're gone. You're like, whoa, and that's devastating, right? But if you think everything was great when you broke up or went through a divorce, I want you to look at, are there signs you missed? Are you being more present? And what are things you could work on being more present for a healthier, happier relationship down the road? First, you look at, okay, what wasn't I getting out of that relationship? Did I feel loved? Did I feel respected? Did I feel desired? Did I feel like I was a priority? Did I feel like I was important in that marriage or relationship, right? So these are things that I want people to look at. And some people feel these things. Maybe they didn't say anything. They didn't want to cause an argument. They didn't want to cause a fight. So these are things, after you look at, hey, I wasn't getting this. I wasn't feeling like a priority. I wasn't feeling like I came, before her friends, before his friends all the time. We're not talking 24/7, right? It's a ebb and flow. It's a give and take. But when somebody doesn't feel loved, desired in a relationship, number one, did I speak up? Or did I speak from the hurt? Did I bring it up? Or did I always attack that person, yell and scream when I was feeling hurt, when I was feeling not loved, when I was feeling, just ripped apart? Did I not bring this up? Or did I attack that person, my ex? Okay, so these are things I want people to look at and to help you and to heal after a breakup, after a divorce situation. What was I not getting in that relationship? Again, not bashing, not ripping your person apart. They cheated on me, all this, and they did this. And I'm going to ask, why did they cheat on you? And I get a lot of people are probably listening now. Oh my God, you're blaming the victim, Greg. No, I'm not. I'm asking people to take responsibility, to be able to look at, was your partner feeling loved, respected, desired, those type of things, right? Nothing's perfect. But why? What made your person not want to be with you? What made your person want somebody else? And again, some people are just selfish regardless. They still cheat, men, women, because they want to, plain and simple, and everything's good in a relationship or marriage, right? There's a lot of myths out there about about this subject. But a lot of people will look at, they didn't really love you. They didn't really, but look at what was your role. And this is a part of the healing process. What could you have done differently? What could have you have done better? What could have you done to improve, as a partner? And sometimes we know it's a personality clash, conflict. And sometimes, it's just a lack of knowledge. We assume a lot, but we don't know how to reach for each other instead of, each other's throats. So that's where I want people with a breakup looking at, okay, what was I not getting? And did I voice that in a healthy way? What could I do differently in a healthier relationship down the road? Can I pay attention better, right? And also, not only that, what is that person? Why did they want to end with me? Was it because compatibility issues, personality clashes, conflict, temperament, same thing, right? What was that person not getting from me? And that's part of also being able to grow and heal instead of blaming that person all the time, right? How many people out there, I wish I could see a show of hands, right? How many people out there always blame their ex, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, that they will blame their ex for everything. They did everything wrong. They treated me like crap. What'd you do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, I do this professionally, and there's stuff I do wrong, I'm human too. So for you to tell me you didn't do anything wrong, either you're lying or you really need to be more introspective and self-aware. Okay? So I'm honest, not to be a jerk, not at all, but to be open and honest and try to help people be able to grow and evolve and to become a better partner for someone down the road after a breakup, okay? So look at what you were not getting in that relationship, like I said, not a bashing, and also looking at what could you have done differently to be a better person, to be, what stuff could you have stopped doing? It's about that self-awareness and that healing process that you can look at and get from an emotional, heart ripped out perspective, and I get that, to moving from that to a more rational, maybe logical aspect, and to learn from our past. What could I have done? What could I have stopped doing? But also, what made me tolerate this for that long, right? Everybody, we took a vow to be married forever and ever. But did you also take a vow to be disrespected, abused, cheated on consistently, not loved, right? Did you also take a vow for that? So I challenge people not to be disrespectful. A lot of people will look at, oh, we took a vow, we should be no matter what. Or people will say, you know what, I loved her, I loved him unconditionally. And I'm like, is that healthy? No, it isn't. And this is part of going back to when I said earlier, the first half of the episode today about being needed versus being needy, right? And, looking at a lot of people, I took a vow. I respect that. I'm all about that. Absolutely. I want people forever, but being healthy, being happy, right? But I'm also never promote people taking a vow to be miserable with one another, to be abused, to be disconnected. Not at all. That's not healthy, and that's not promoting self-love and self-respect. And that's, there's a difference between those things and being selfish, and it's all about you. Okay? So, hopefully everybody's doing okay. Peace and love to everybody out there. Again, you can catch the Art of Relationships show now, new time, 12 noon Eastern time, every Wednesday, all over social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Oh, did I say YouTube? I might have forgot YouTube. At LoveGuruGreg. You can check out my profile, depending where you're looking at, above. at Love Guru, or at Love Guru Greg is my social. You can follow me all over the place using that. My website is theartofrelationships.org. And, check it out. I do have a few course offerings going on. And also I promote to stop hate throughout the world, and promoting love intentionally as well. So I do have a few items out there on my website you can check out. And again, I appreciate everybody joining in, spending your time. I don't take that for granted, not at all. I'm very appreciative of you and everybody out there spending your time, okay? So everybody have a great Wednesday and the rest of the week, and I will talk to you later on. Peace and love.